Is it streaming? Okay, it's streaming. Alright, so it happened just as I predicted, just as I expected. We did a fake out to the upside. Um, used basically had this line act as resistance, and yeah. So now we're just kind of we broke down below this channel initially. So now that we've done that, let's copy it and move it. It should line up right here where it lines up with these candles. It lines up with these candles. Um, so this is now the new bottom of the channel, and if I actually clone this one more time, put it right there, that's actually the bottom of the channel, right where these two candle bodies kind of match up. They pretty much match up at this level. It's a little bit below here, a little bit above here, and that actually kind of matches with the bottom of this one and kind of the top of that one. So we're not exactly at the bottom of this downward channel yet, but it is bearish, especially since we're below this 4-hour blue step line. So yeah, the NASDAQ is going to be heading down lower. Let's look at the S&P. Same deal here. So we broke below the lower bound of that channel. So now let's drag this over here. And that roughly lines up with the tops of these wicks, the bottom of this wick. I guess it kind of lines up here with the inflection point as to where price faked out towards the upside. But yeah, so now we're looking to break below this portion of the channel. Otherwise, we're going to use this as support, and it's going to go back up, and then potentially break down here if it doesn't break above it. That's the next thing we're going to be watching for is a reversal towards the upside. It's going to be, I think it's going to be choppy, kind of like how my mouse is moving right now, the way I'm moving it. I think it's going to be choppy at a slight angle, take the stairs up, and then it's going to try to potentially break through to the upside. It might fake out a little bit, wick up here, and then come slamming back down. Or it could slowly trickle back up and then shoot to the upside. That's another possibility as well. This could be the end of the correction, and we could be going up, or we could be potentially going further down on both the S&P as well as the NASDAQ. So I guess it's just a matter of waiting. Time will tell. But everything's going according to what I predicted in my prior videos, in my prior live videos. So let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin just to see. Alright, so yeah, we broke above, we closed above on the hourly, above that level, and we did hit our $110,000 mark. So as long as we stay above 109K, I would say, as long as we stay above that, we are probably going to go to 130K. And I got that number from this fib channel. Actually, let me go out to the daily so I can show y'all. So from the top of this wick right here to the bottom of this wick, I drew a fib, and the 1.618 level has us at 131K. So as long as we stay above the current price, which is at about 109,000, 110,000, as long as we don't dip below that, we're most likely going to 131K as our next target. So now it's just a question and a matter of waiting to see if we dip below this level right here, which is basically at 109,500. And if we do dip below it, how long are we going to be below it? Are we at resistance right now, or are we at support? That is the question. That is the question, and it's going to the $1,000,000 question, which is going to determine whether or not the market, turns bearish and goes to the downside or goes to the upside. If it goes down on the downside, we're going to at least 92K. but it might do a fake out to the downside and then go back up, right? That's a possibility as well. You know, it might say, oh, hey, we've reached resistance, we're going to reject, and then it might shoot through it, or it might test it again. It might just go sideways at this level. Really, it could do anything at this point. The main thing is that we're testing to see if we're at resistance or support. So personally, um, I'm not telling you guys what to do. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Personally, sorry, not purposely. Personally, what I'm doing is I'm just trading the spot. I'm not using any leverage. I'm not going short. I'm just going long on the spot. Um, and I've actually been holding, for a while, but that's just my own personal investment strategy. I bought like around here when we were kind of crossing this inflection point. Actually, I think I bought around here, but my holdings are not in Bitcoin. My holdings are in altcoins surrounding Bitcoin and other projects. I'm not going to go into what coins I'm investing in. Do your own research. I'm not here to pump my bags. Not that there's a bunch of people watching my channel or my live, but I'm just saying that's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to do the macro trade analysis because that's what everything else kind of rests on as far as what happens in the market. Our leading indicators are where liquidity is going, and that is Bitcoin, and obviously I think liquidity is going out of the traditional market. And yeah, as we saw with the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. So yeah, that's the update. Everything that I said was going to happen is happening. So the proof is in the pudding. You can get this indicator for free, the one that I've got pulled up on the chart. Let me just pull up a brand new chart just to show you guys what you get for free with the indicator if you choose to leave your TradingView username with me. Just like, comment, and subscribe to one of my videos or any of my live videos, and you will get this indicator for free. You get the order blocks that show you the liquidation zones. Wherever the order blocks are, price gravitates towards that level like a magnet, because the orders, there's volume on the order books that is basically asking to get liquidated. People entered into shorts here, placing their stops in this red zone. So the people who place their stops in this zone, they're fearful of the idea of their stops getting triggered or their positions potentially getting liquidated, and that's what happened. A lot of people lost out. A lot of people lost money. Right? That happens all the time, every day. Anyways, you get these order blocks for the upside and the downside. You get these step lines which you can modify and change the time frame on. You can go down to a second. You can go up to 12 months, and that just affects these lines that are showing up on the chart. You can turn them on and off. I'll just turn them off for a minute just so you can see what it looks like without them. But those lines stay the same no matter what time frame you're on. So if I go to the 15-minute, those lines will stay in the exact same positions. Now these other lines will not. They will basically switch to whatever time frame you're on. In addition to these order blocks, these ICT fair value gaps that show where price is going to gravitate towards. So this green line and the orange line kind of serve as trailing stops, sort of. Also, aka like inflection points. Like whenever we cross heavily, sharply against those lines, we break out towards the upside or the downside. Like here we crossed heavily in a sharp correction towards the upside. Above that, here we did towards the downside. Sometimes there's a lot of chop, but the way that I mitigate that chop is by using these extra lines here. Those serve as kind of macro indicators as to whether or not we're bullish or bearish, because what these lines are, the ones that I just turned on, they're the same thing as this green and orange line, let me just zoom in real quick again, this green and orange line, they're the same thing as these step lines, they're just on a higher time frame, but you can see it on a smaller time frame, which makes it easier. I'm on the 15-minute, I can go to the hourly, and those step lines that I just turned on with the checkboxes are still in the same positions, so it gives you an overall big picture idea of what's going on in the market, where it passed and crossed inflection points, in addition to the support and resistance that you can already plot out by seeing where liquidity is sitting on the order blocks based on liquidation. Additionally, as I've covered in my other videos, you can always go to coinglass.com if you want to see where orders on the books are actually sitting, where volume is sitting. Looks like at the level of 105,690, 105,700 basically. There is a lot of volume sitting there. So it looks like a lot of people's stops have been placed here. A lot of people probably bought in at this level right here and at this level, and so far it's acting as support. We might test that level again. What is that? 106,000 basically. But other than that, you know, as long as we don't go below 106,000, 105.5, 105K, as long as we don't go below that level, you know, I'm still even bullish even if we go down to 100K, right? Or even if we dip just below 100K, I'm still bullish at that point. But it's less concerning to me if we don't dip below 106,000. I think we're gonna test it as support again. Let me go back to the chart. 106,000 would be where. Let me go back to the chart that I was actually using. Let me go down to the 1 hour and let's look for 106,000. 106,000. I don't know why the price is so glitchy. 106.5. Yeah. So 106. Yeah, basically that level. So as long as we don't break below this line right here, which is basically the bottom of this liquidation block, this order block, this red block right here, as long as we don't break below that, then I am still bullish. But again, obviously if we do break below it, I'm still bullish at that point, but it's a little bit more concerning as far as Bitcoin goes. So anyways, guys, that was the live. Go ahead and get this indicator. It is a beast. I have been working on it for a long time. You know, I actually had it sitting on the back burner, this indicator, and you know, I was just contemplating for the longest time, for years, as to whether or not I should show people and release it, because I think it is that powerful. So you can go ahead and get it for free. Just like, comment, and subscribe to any one of my videos or my lives, and leave me your TradingView username in the comments, and I will add you to the indicator, and you can pull it up on your favorites on your chart. Anyways, guys, that's the live, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. See you later.